Hello, Dr. Russell. Today I'm going to talk about the history of rock. Rock music began in March of 1951 with Rocket 88 by Ike Turner, and then it grew with artists like Elvis Presley, Chuck Berry, and Jerry Lee Lewis. It evolved from country, R&B, and the blues. It is rooted in the struggles of African Americans and the working class. This is due to the aforementioned evolution of genres, the country being the working class genre, and R&B and the blues being the African American genre. These rejections of society wanted to show their anger at the man, which is the School of Rock reference. Through this, rock gained popularity through its raw and rebellious sound. This rebellious sound created a religious outrage. Christians and Catholics did not appreciate the satanic direction from bands like the Rolling Stones, who will be mentioned later. In 1962, the cassette player was invented for a much more portable way of listening to music rather than the vinyl records. And in the same year, a band called the Rolling Stones formed, which is a very popular rock group and was part of the beginning of the British invasion, which will also be talked about later on. Going in a dated order from the late 1960s to early 1980s, there were many songs that condemned this satanic direction, and it was known as the Jesus Movement. Some of these songs were American Pie by Don McLean, Why Should the Devil Have All the Good Music by Larry Norman, and Little Country Church by Love Song. During this time, some huge bands that laid foundation for rock were formed. Many of these bands were part of the British invasion, bands such as the Beatles, Pink Floyd, Queen, and Black Sabbath, who during this period also invented the very popular subgenre metal with their 1970 debut album Black Sabbath. This genre produced many influential bands like Metallica, Megadeth, and Iron Maiden. With all this development during the 60s, 70s, and 80s, there was the birth of many other subgenres. I'm going to go over these subgenres really quick. Hard rock, born in the mid-1960s, was popularized with bands such as Led Zeppelin and AC/DC. Prog rock, born in the late 1960s too, was popularized with bands such as Pink Floyd and King Crimson. Glam rock, born in the early 1970s, was popularized with artists such as David Bowie. And finally, hair rock was born in the late 1970s with bands such as Kiss and Twisted Sister. Those were just few of many of the rock subgenres, and it would take forever to name them all. But I cannot end the topic of the 70s without mentioning the Disco Demolition Night. On July 12, 1979, thousands of people brought their disco recordings to the middle of a baseball field and burned it. And this is popularly known as the death of disco. The 1980s was filled with many special events too, such as the formation of Metallica in 1981, one of the most profitable bands with a total of $1 billion in value. The formation of MTV in 1981, a TV channel made for playing popular music videos for artists such as Michael Jackson. This channel also brought rock a lot more mainstream popularity during the time. It may be one of the biggest and my favorite event in the 1980s that I'll mention is the invention of the compact disc, CD for short. These were much higher quality and had a greater lifespan than the previously mentioned cassettes. When the 1990s came around, a new subgenre known as grunge started breaking out. Bands famously credited with starting this subgenre are Green River, Mudhoney, Pearl Jam, and Nirvana. Many albums like 10 by Pearl Jam, Dirt by Alice in Chains, and Nevermind by Nirvana further pushed grunge to its popularity. And fun fact, Nevermind is considered by many to be the most famous album of the 1990s, with songs like Smells Like Teen Spirit and Lithium. Grunge started to fall off after the death of Kurt Cobain, the lead singer of Nirvana, in 1994, and a new genre formed known as post-grunge. And it started with bands such as Foo Fighters, which was formed by the drummer of Nirvana, and Nickelback. Post-grunge was a more simple and polished version of grunge, and this subgenre got a lot of hate and often being called too commercialized. Another major subgenre that started in the 90s was nu metal. It was a new form of metal with aspects from hip-hop, and alt-rock. Some bands that started this subgenre were Korn, Limp Bizkit, and System of a Down. And we are running out of time, so I have to move on to the 21st century. In the 2000s, many bands such as The Killers, White Stripes, and Arctic Monkeys grew to great popularity for their social media advertising and catchy songwriting. Though not many other special events happened during this time, and since the late 1990s, rock has been on a slow fall due to the rise of pop and hip-hop. Thank you.